Welcome everyone to an advising tutorial video. This video is specifically on UMDegree as an overview. What is it and how does the advisor use it? So right now I'm looking at UMDegree in my Memphis. I'm going to back up and show you how you get here, okay? So I'm going to open up a brand new tab and go to the University of Memphis website. You're always going to look for My Memphis. So no matter how the university reprograms the page and redesigns it, always look for My Memphis, okay? Once you click on that, you should have either an advising tab or a faculty tab, okay? Under either one of them, you should be able to get to your UMDegree. Once you click on it, I'm going to scroll down and here is where my UMDegree is, all right? So once you click on it, it'll go blank. I'm going to be in test, so I'm going to show you what it looks like here. So I have a fake student here, Jacob Marley. In UMDegree, you're going to notice that their name pops up. Notice that you can email the student from here. Once the student has been assigned an advisor, the advisor's name will pop up here. The student can click on the advisor's name and email the advisor anything. That's what I typically instruct students to do. If you don't know the answer, you have an advising backup in the CCFA advising team, the college advisor, and the graduation analyst. Shoot that email to one of us. We'll be happy to help you answer it, okay? You're going to notice that the student's degree is here, their major and their concentration. Please know that if the major and concentration are not correct, nothing else on UMDegree is going to be correct. So make sure that's correct. If it's not, once again, email the CCFA advising team, the college advisor, or the graduation analyst. I'm being vague because those positions may change, the people who are holding them. But just email them. They'll be able to make that change for you, okay? You'll also be able to notice the student's classification is here. This is a wonderful time to talk about how many hours the student currently has and how many more hours they need to get to the next classification. I have a lot of students who think that they should be a junior, where they need, I believe, 60 hours to be a junior, but they only have 58 or 59. So that's a wonderful time to talk about classification. Also notice that the GPAs are here. So UMDegree, they're constantly making updates and changes. So the amount of GPAs may change, okay? There will always be an institution GPA, and this counts just the U of M classes only. So if the student is a transfer student, this is just the U of M classes only. Their other GPAs seem to be the same, so it looks like they don't have any transfer work. The overall GPA should, and I stress that because the registrar is always making changes, but you always want to find a GPA that will count both the transfer work and the U of M coursework. We're always making changes to our definitions. Right now, during this video, the inclusive GPA is what counts the transfer work plus the U of M coursework for a true GPA. That may be changing in a little bit, so the overall GPA will start to do that at a later point, okay? But you want the GPA that's going to count the transfer work plus the U of M coursework for a true GPA. You will also notice here that the advising pen, what term the pen has been cleared for, is also here. So you'll be able to see if the student has been cleared for the current term or if they need to be cleared. The two other bars that you'll notice here are the requirements bar and the credits bar. Of course, the credits is easier, and this is just how they met the number of credit hours for their degree. This student is required to have 120 credit hours for their degree. So this credits bar is just going to count how close they are to that number. The requirements bar, this is a little bit different. So this is how far the student is in their degree progression. 100% means the student has officially graduated. So the student will not see 100% until the very end of their very last semester after grades post. So if the student is supposed to graduate, for instance, in the spring, they will not see 100% until at the end of spring after grades post. That 100% means those final grades have been posted, that student has officially graduated. While the student is currently taking classes, the highest they will see this number go is 98%. 98% means they're currently registered for the very last semester and they are scheduled to graduate that semester. So make that distinction for your students. I get a lot of confusion about that, okay? UMDegree is divided into blocks. So you're going to see blocks here all throughout UMDegree. The first block is just a bird's eye view of everything a student needs to do in order to graduate. You're going to see they must maintain a 2.0 GPA at all times. This is a good time to talk about graduation with distinction, the summa, cum, and magna statuses. They must have at least 60 hours from a 4-year institution in order for them to have a bachelor's degree. At least 30 hours must be from the U of M, so on and so forth. You can go through that. What is important here is the 42 upper division hours. Upper division hours are any 3,000, 4,000 level courses, whether they are in the major or not. Every student is required to have 42 upper division hours. These notes here are always very helpful. You'll be able to see it reiterated. The student needs 42 upper division credits, how many they currently have, and how many more they still need. Depending on the major, that will be satisfied in the major. If they have a small major, they may need to pick up a minor. All right. Notice once again that you have green check marks. It means that those requirements have been met. The red box means those requirements still need to be met. So that's wonderful in your advising conversation. You're also going to notice here under credits applied, this is how many hours the student has completed plus how many hours the student's currently registered for. You'll be able to see that difference if we pull up the student's transcript. The transcript will say how many hours have been earned, and then you'll be able to see also how many hours you're currently registered for. So it's highly likely that this student have completed 50 hours and maybe they're registered for 16 hours. That's where we get 66 hours from. I don't know that to be the case specifically for this student, but that's a possibility, okay? So just know that this number always includes the hours the student is also currently registered for, plus the number of credits they've already completed. So that might be a difference. So you see here how this is 66 hours here, but the status is sophomore. That's because the student has completed 50 some hours. They have not completed 60 hours yet. You'll also notice here how many hours are still needed to get to 120 hours. So that's always going to be a countdown each semester, okay? As far as the general education goes, you're going to notice here how many credit hours are required for Gen Ed and how many hours the student has completed plus what they're currently registered for. This is where we see the blue. So the R means that they're registered, and you'll see the term. They're registered in the current term for this class. The blue also means this is the very last requirement, and once that grade comes in, a satisfactory grade, then it will turn green. Just a small note, in the Gen Ed, if the course is not required for the major, the Gen Ed, a grade of D is sufficient for Gen Ed as long as the course is not required in the major. You'll see here the student's a theater major. These courses will count towards the major, so the student's going to need a C or higher. So it just depends on what the student's major is, okay? Notice once again, you'll see the green check marks. These categories are complete. The red means that they still need to be completed. Sorry for the email still popping up. And you'll be able to see here, if you mouse over the course title will pop up. If you click on the course, you'll see a course description pop up, as well as the days and times and how many seats are still available. I think what's being helpful now is they're also offering the courses that are offered for the upcoming term. So this is very helpful when you're helping a student plan for a future term to see if that course is going to be offered that term and the dates and times, okay? Excuse me, this is for the general education block. Once again, you'll see what's done and what still needs to be done. A lot of times when I'm advising, I will go over the titles for the course and just read the titles to the student and just ask them what they think is interesting, and then we'll plan from there. If we scoot down into the major, we're going to see it's divided into the concentration, into the core for the major itself, and then the concentration here. So you're going to see how many hours are required for the major as a whole, and then how many hours the student has completed plus what they're currently registered for. So notice that this one is not in blue because the student has more hours to complete here. This colon means that there's a range of courses. So if you click on that, all the different courses in that range will pop up here. These happen to be the labs for the theater department. You can talk about that with the student, which one they're interested in taking, and how many still have seats left available in them. So it's always very helpful. And then as well as the major itself, Once again, we can see what's currently the student is currently taking. Those are our courses here, what term they've taken it, what previous grades they've earned, and then what's still left, how many classes are still left in the term. So this is always very, very helpful as far as advising the student and telling them what they need to take. If you as an advisor ever see something that's outdated or it's not correct, then by all means let the advising team know, the college advisor or the graduation analyst, and we can make those corrections for you. What's also very helpful at the very bottom of UMDegree, this is a place to always look. This student happens to have transfer credit in the unapplied electives. A note about unapplied electives is that these hours do count in the 120 hours for the student's degree. They may not count towards the major or towards gen ed, but these are just the electives to help them get to 120 hours. It could be for a particular student. For instance, if the student were an art student, maybe this course would substitute for one of the required courses. If that is the case, then email the college advisor or the graduation analyst. We will also evaluate it, and if we can make that substitution, we will make that. Okay, but they do go towards 120 hours. You'll see here in the insufficient courses, these are grades that are W grades, D's, and F's. So a student may have retaken a course, a student withdrew from a course, they flunked a course, they will be here in insufficient. You're also going to see the in progress courses. So this is always very helpful. This student is very ambitious in that they are taking 20 hours this semester. So that's the student's choice. A lot of, they have some 1 hour courses. So there are these students taking about 18, but you as the advisor, you can make that determination with the student. So that's helpful to see here at the bottom of UMDegree. If we scroll down to the very bottom, what's not showing here is if there were any notes that we made on the student, they would show here. There's a notes tab, and I can make several different videos on each one of these tabs to better explain what they are. And those will be forthcoming, okay? But you'll also see a legend. So this just tells you how to read it. Once again, we know about the green check mark. It means it's complete. A red box means it's not. This blue tab is what we like. They're enrolled correctly in the very last course for that requirement, and that will be done once that grade is posted. The double tilde is very interesting. This is, there's some small problem here. So you'll see on that, for instance, if the student in their general education, you'll see here they're required to have 41 hours, okay? If they're a transfer student and maybe their science courses were 3 hours total, a 2-hour lecture, 1 hour lab. Then the student may have 40 hours here instead of the 41. They've completed all the classes, but the hours aren't correct. That's when you would email the college advisor, the graduation analyst. We can make that correction for you. It might be the same thing in the major. The student may have 68 hours, 69 hours, and if it's something small like that, we can make that correction if it's warranted. But that just lets you know there's a small problem. You may also see a double tilde maybe in the GPA hours. So maybe the student has met all the requirements for the degree, but they don't have a 2.0 GPA. So they may have a 1.99, a 1.98. So that just alerts you to some of the small problems that is prohibiting the student from graduating. So this is an overall review of UMDegree and what's happening. If you have any questions or comments, by all means, please email the advising team or give us a call. All of our information is on the website, and we will be happy to help you with that. Thanks so much.